Here we go, guys. Please read this disclaimer, because everyone should know that trading is risky business, and everyone in this room or everyone is watching this video should take his own decision. I do this only to show you how I see the market, and it's for educational use only, so please read the disclaimers so you know about the risk involved in trading. Many of you know that already, but since I publish this on YouTube also, it's very good that everyone have time to read the disclaimer. Yeah, you can pause the video and read it whenever you want. So let's get started, and we will start with the Dixie. I'll try to make this a little fast as I can, but it's about 22 markets, guys, so bear with me, because it's gonna get time to go through all of them. So we start with the Dixie, as I always do, and as you see, guys, since last week we were talking about this level down here, the 99.50, and this level keep holding the market, and it's been above 99.50 for a while now, and it's been tested many times, and every time it tested this level it got rejected. And now we have also this trend line, daily trend line. It's a major trend line, and we have the daily 200 moving average at the same level also. So this area is a very important area at the moment to keep an eye on. And what we have from last week, the last 3 days was rejection candles after this major move to the downside, and market the Dixie found support and rejected back up. But as you see, guys, this was the highest high. Then we have another lower high and another lower high, but we keep having almost equal lows, yeah. And looks like the Dixie was not able to make new highs yet, but we were not able to break these lows, so you should keep looking at this ranging area to trade from. This area is important, and those two lines, trend lines, this trend line that coming from downside, and this trend line that we have for the down lower highs, as you see here, are very important to look at. So for next week we should be looking at this structure here. For if price reach this level, it's gonna be as you see here, price had lots of consolidations here, and we have some structure here. So if price reach this level, we may see some reaction here, and a maybe possible bounce to the downside on this trend line and back to retest. If you want to go long on this not this pair, on the Dixie, the best way is to wait and see if price will do another retest and buy it from the 99.50, which is a very important level, and ride it back up to this area. And for more confirmation to the upside, of course, we want to see a break of this trend line and a retest for more continuation, and then the next trouble area is waiting at this high, yeah. These are I'm gonna give you today as many scenarios as possible on all the pairs, and because we can't just guess what the market gonna do, but we can think for the scenarios that may happen And let's not forget about many news next week. Economical news today, right now, the French election is ongoing, and this time it looks like we have a much hype ongoing for the election because of Le Pen, and the politics in France is very major news at the moment all over the world. So we may see large moves after this first part of the election today. Yeah, so be careful. And for the downside, of course, we have this 99.50 level. You want to see this broken and retested for more and retested rejection to the downside for more downside on the Dixie. We don't want to see a scenario like this one as it happened here. Everyone was thinking that we broke this level and time for more down, but all this was a false break, and price went back up in the range again. Yeah, so those are the scenario we have on the Dixie, and we look for price action and just follow what we see. Yeah, as usual. Hello Sabah, hello Jones, welcome. Gold did break very strongly to the upside above the 1260 area here. Did break the important daily 200 moving average. We've been talking about this moving average already when price tested the first time and got rejected, and we had a very good trade to the downside. But this time gold did a false breakout, rejected back down, and then it break this structure with a very strong candle, as you see here. And now last week we had this consolidation. What I'm looking at gold is the best thing is price make a correction back down to retest this area to give us a chance maybe for a trend continuation to retest these highs. Or if gold keep going up, then I will be looking at this level, the 13.8.9 area to try to short gold from this level. At the moment we are in the middle of the range. I personally don't like to trade from a level like this when we are in the middle of the range, but if you are a short-term trader, you maybe can go down to a lower time frame to find an entry reasons for if you want to trade this one. But at the moment, at the 4 hour, I don't see any clear direction. Gold have been very hard traded for many new traders, so be careful, because as you see those candles, there will be a lots of wicks taking out sellers and buyers all the times. So the best way to do it, if you're new to trading, wait to buy from this level down here to a retest of at least the highs here, or possibly all the way up to 13.5 or 13.9. Or if price keep going up next week, try to short it from this level up here to at least retest these lows, or all the way back down here. Those are the much better scenarios for gold, and they're gonna give you a better risk to reward also. Yeah, oil did a very strong move to the upside, but couldn't make a new high, as you see, guys. This was now we have a lower high, lower than this one, and got rejected very strongly. You can argue that this is a correction for this move to the upside, but I am bearish on oil now. So for me, even though we couldn't close for a long time below the 200 moving average, we have a major low lower than this whole structure here now was broken, and we got this major low in this area. So for oil, what I'll be looking at, the best way I see it is shorting scenario if price go back to retest this structure at the 51.50 and try to short it back, because the move now been done and it's overextended in my opinion, and the RSI on the daily is almost to the oversold. Yeah, so we may see some reaction at this structure and a bounce to the upside, but I wouldn't trade it to the upside. So take a look at the 51.50 area for short on oil in my opinion, and your target should be somewhere down here. This level looks very strong. It tested 3 times. We have this major structure here and we couldn't break it. So this should be the first take profit if you get a chance for shorting the oil from a little bit higher here. We go over to forex, and we start with some Aussie pair, and the first one I have on the list is Aussie Jappy, and where I'm interested is actually where the market is testing right now, and it's this area, as you see here, is an important area. As you see, price did find some a little bit of support at this even number, the 81.50 area, and we are trading now a little bit slightly above the 200 moving average again. So this 200 daily 200 moving average may be acting as dynamic support at the moment, but the close, as you see, wasn't a very strong above it. So we still have this ranging area here where we have a natural market. We have no really clue if it will reverse to the upside yet, or if it will break and keep going down. What I'm looking at for next week is on lower time frame, I want to see maybe a retest of this level, and if I find any bullish evidence here, I will try to go long, because we have also some divergence on the RSI. As you see here, we have a higher high on the RSI and lower low on the price. So if we go down to the 4 hour, you see that we may possibly get this double top scenario in this area. Should be a very good place to try to find an entry reason for long, but remember that this is a counter trend trade, yeah, so you should be careful and maybe don't put a lot of risk on this trade, because as you see, the downtrend is very strong, and if you want to trade this pair with the trend, should be, of course, you wait to a retest of the 84 area back up here, a retest of this structure, and then try to find your bearish evidence for a trade to the downside for at least a retest of these lows down here, yeah. So those are the two scenarios we can have on this pair for next week or the week after. Aussie New Zealand was performing very well. As you see, it's a little more wicks from the upside, and the pressure is very strong to the downside again. This retest back down here was on in the same day we got the retest, and price rejected back to the upside. And if we put a Fibonacci retracement tool on this whole move, we have this retest stopped above, closed above this 50% Fibonacci, and the level is clear and very easy to see that we should have some reaction from this area. You see which a very strong structure here, and you see that this level was acting as resistant before, and we have this flip zone when this structure is now acting as support, and it did really found support at the same level and got rejected back to the upside. This could be a correction to the upside, as you see, because we got rejected back down when price did a retest of this lower low here. So Aussie New Zealand, structure wise, we have lower lows and lower highs again now, and of course we should be looking for a trend continuation from this structure up here. And if we go down to the 4 hour, you see it a little bit better, and you see that we have a very good rejection at this level on the 4 hour, and to try to take a trend continuation on this pair, we maybe want to see a retest back up here and try to short it from this level here back down to these lows. And the reason we want to see a retest, because our risk to reward gonna be much better. As you see, we put our stop loss about let's say 10 pips above this structure, and that will give us much better risk to reward than taking, if you want to take the trade from the opening of the market next week, you're gonna have a much bigger risk. Yeah, so that's why I prefer a trend continuation on this one, but from this level here and back down. So let's wait for next week and see what price action we will get. Aussie USD did as we expected, did found again support at the 0.75 area. This level is a major level, as you see, been tested many times here, broken, then was acting as resistance many times, and then now it's acting as support. I had my alert down here just below this level. I was thinking that price maybe want to tag these lows before it go up, but it actually didn't trigger my alert at all, and went up very fast. I didn't have the chance to trade this one. So there is two levels I will be looking at for next week for this pair, and we are right now in this trading in this range. So what I'll be looking at, if price go back down and retest this area, I will try to long it back to retest these highs. Our first take profit should be these highs, and of course if it broke this level, then a retest of these highs, or maybe all the way back up to this level here, which gonna be a very good level to try to take a short from if price managed to get all the way up to this area. That will be the first scenario I want to see, and I will be looking at a retest back down here and try to long it back up. Of course, if price keep heading up, my first level I will be looking at is this high here. I will be looking for price action and see if we're gonna get another rejection to the downside. Of course, we go down to lower time frame and try to find to see if we're gonna get another rejection as we got here. We got this inverted shooting star formation here. It was a very good entry reason at the 200 moving average and this resistant area. It was very strong entry reason to the downside, and it went very good all the way back down. So those are the levels I will be looking at for Aussie USD. We have a couple of CAD pairs, and the first one is CAD Chief. And the level I will be watching for next week is actually where price is testing right now. As you see, this level have been acting as a very good support level, and got many rejection at this area, and our daily RSI is getting to the oversold area, and we have a little bit of divergence also. So will be very interesting to see how price will react in this area here for next week. And if I find on lower time frame, 4 hour or 1 hour maybe, any entry reasons as this rejection we had back here, as you see, we had this very good formation, a rejection, a retest of the structure, and price went up very strong. So there is a possibility that we have a good order block in this area down here. So keep your eyes on this level and look for bullish evidence to try and go long for at least a retest of these highs or back up to this structure here. Yeah, your first take profit should be somewhere here. Take a part of your positions and maybe leave the rest to try higher. Yeah, very clear area to look at, and very good risk to reward if we got this scenario down here. CAD Jappy have been acting very good to the downside, and inside this wonderful daily channel, it did break this structure here. As you see, it was a major and very good structure that got broken now, and it also did break the daily 200 moving average. The level I'm looking at for next week is, of course, one of these two levels, the 80 level here, or the 82.30 up here. So if price keep going down and retest this area here, as you see, at the 80 even number should be a good level to look at. But be careful, for there will be possibly some stop loss hunt at this level because it's a very clear level and easy to see. So it's gonna be a crowded trade. Or the next scenario is if CAD will retest this structure and the 200 daily moving average, then of course this 82.30 area should be a very good place to look for a trend continuation to the downside from this area up here, because as you see guys, the trend is clear right now, is to the downside. And at this area up here, if price make it up to a retest, then we have the trend line, we have this structure, we have this resistant area here, we have also the 200 daily moving average gonna act as dynamic resistance. So this area here is a very important level to look at for shorting opportunity on this pair. Euro, I have also, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 euro pairs on my list today, and the first one is Euro Aussie. And we've been talking about this trend line for a while now, guys. Those of you who follow me for a while know that I've been talking about this trend line. We talked about this trend line back in here, and we saw that if price didn't break above this trend line, then we're gonna see bounce to the back down, and that what we got. Very good bounce to the downside. But then as you see, we are not making lower lows, we keep making higher highs and higher lows. So there is a possibility for more to the upside on this pair. And maybe now when we did actually break this trend line for one day and we did a retest, looks like we have a retest already. You can also argue that we have this whole impulsive move to the downside, this one here, that we have now a correction of this whole move. As you see, it did a correction to the 61.8 Fibonacci and got rejected twice. But this not the new thing we have now, that we did break this trend line, and it's a major, an old daily trend line. So we should be looking how price will act next week in this area here, and we want to see if this was only a retest of the trend line and this structure back down here, and if it will do something like this and keep going up. The first we want to see is a break of these highs. These two highs are very important, and of course if we're gonna break and close above the 200 daily moving average, then there is a very good possibility to keep going and retest these highs up here. Yeah, so this market is getting very interesting, and I will be watching it very close for next week. Let's go down to the 4 hour and see what we have. And as you see, this whole move was very strong to the upside. As you see here, why I don't get my arrow, here we go, very strong move to the upside. We broke the trend line, and it looks like we did a retest also. So let's see if next week gonna give us a continuation up, or maybe the best possibility should be another retest, give us a double bottom, and then give us an entry region from down here to a retest of these highs and this high up here. Yeah, that should be very good. And looking at the RSI, you see that we are in closer and closer to the oversold area. EuroCAD did a very strong move to the upside last week, very strong candles as you see, and did find some resistance at this level here. We couldn't break for a new high. We got rejected back down, and on lower time frame it looks like a retest of this broken structure, and for now it looks like we see that price is respecting this trend line. So what we should be looking at for next week is, if this move was only a retest of the structure and a continuation up, and to be sure we want to see a break of this high and this high, and that will give us a break of this trend line at the same time. So we want to see a break above at least on 4-hour time frame, close above, maybe a retest and a continuation. If not, then guys, this possibly is the reversal from this order block here, and if price do respect this area once again, retest of the trend line, then I will be looking for a shorting opportunity to see if price is gonna retest these lows back down here. Yeah, and the main reason is that we couldn't make new high higher than this one back here, and that's why this area is very important to see how price will act next week up here. So look for price action in this area. If you see bearish evidence, then try to short it, and the possibility is a retest of these lows back down here. Yeah, Euro-JAPY, very interesting level, and I did publish an idea on TradingView about this structure here, and I said that we see that price is heading again toward this important area, and as you see, we did actually see a reaction at this level. Price did a retest of this 200 moving average that I was talking about, and we had this 38 Fibonacci retracement as a confluence, and we had also this major structure back down here, and that's why I was thinking that we may see some rejection here and a trend continuation trade. And as expected, if we look at this one, I was talking about lower time frame to look at this trend line, wait for a break, a retest, which will give us a head and shoulders and a continuation to the downside, and that exactly what we got. We got the break, the retest, and our head and shoulders, and we got a very good trade on this one. But then if we go down to lower time frame, you see that price did found support back down on this this structure here. This structure, it's a clear one, and it did act as support. So for next week, what I'll be looking at is if price gonna keep going up to retest this structure up here, and possibly give us a bounce from this trend line or this area for a trend continuation, for a retest of the lows here, or much better if we get a retest of these lows back down here. Yeah, because the trend for now is very strong to the downside. Yeah, that should be the area we look at for possible shorting on this one to the downside. So very good spot to look at for a trend continuation scenario here. Yeah, if you think this gonna keep going up to the upside and you want to trade it, the best scenario is to try to find an entry reason if price reaches this area to take a counter trend trade. Or what I want to see, if I really want to trade this one back up, I want to see that it's gonna break this trend line and the daily 200 moving average, give me a close, daily close above this structure here, a retest, and then maybe I will trade it to the upside. Until that, I will be only be looking for a shorting opportunity on this pair. Yeah, Euro sterling, anyone is shocked that the price did found support at this level? I don't think so. It's a very clear major level down here, and a break of this structure down here need a very good catalyst to do that. We may be gonna get this catalyst soon with the French elections ongoing and everything, but until that, we keep looking at this structure down here as a good support, because the rejection, we have this very strong candle to the downside on after Theresa May's speech about the new the earlier election in Great Britain, and we had this great move to the downside, but still price couldn't close below this structure. It got when price did a test of this structure, got rejected. That you can see more clear on the 4 hour, as you see a very strong rejection from the downside, and then all we had was this consolidation down here. What we want to know, what next from here? Yeah, because this consolidation can be now that the big guys are gathering contracts, and what we don't know if they are buying long, net long or net short. I think next week we're gonna have a clear signal of that. But as for now, and as I always said, when we have a range like this, it's a clear range. We keep trading as if the price, the level will hold, and we are now at the lows of the range. So for me, even though we are trading below the 200 moving average, this structure is very looks very strong for me. So I want to see for next week on lower time frame, if price gonna go back down a little bit, do a retest, another rejection, then I will try to go long from back down here to at least a retest of this structure. My first take profit maybe would go, and if it break that, then of course a retest of these highs and the 200 moving average. Yeah, so that is what I'll be looking at for next week on this pair. And of course, breakout traders and those who think that euro sterling gonna keep going down, you want to see a break, a daily break of this structure here, a close below this structure on daily. Then you may go back to a lower time frame to find a retest and try to find a trend continuation to the downside. And there is a lots of room, as you see here, to the downside. The first take profit should be this structure here, then we have this structure and this level back down here, but I have a little bit hard to see that yet, but who knows what the market have for us. Euro New Zealand did break this major downtrend. As you see, this major trend line is now broken. it did break the 200 daily moving average and kept trading above this 200 daily moving average and above this major structure here. It's a very important structure. As you see, we have this whole area that been acting as good support, then resistant, and now is acting as support. It did a fake breakout and went back up to the range. So of course we go down to lower time frame and we want to see what price will do when it reach, and if it reach this area back down here, I will be looking for a retest of this structure and look for bullish evidence, rejections, head and shoulders, double bottom, and try to take along to a retest of these highs, or possibly a retest of the top of the range. That should be a very good target. And one more time, we have now this range. As far as price is trading in this range, we keep buying the lows of the range and selling the highs of the range from back up here until one of the two scenario happens, that we get a broke of the range, a retest and continuation down, or if we get a break to the upside of this level, then we wait for a retest and back up to the upside. Yeah, but for the nearest future, for next week, once again, this level is very important. Look at this level and see if you can find an entry reason for long. Yeah. Euro USD. Euro USD is getting closer and closer to this major trend line and the 200 moving average. The areas I'm looking at for next week is this structure up here. As you see, we have this important structure here. We got rejected once already, as you see here on the retest of the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement of this move. We got rejected, and then price got rejected back up. So for Euro USD next week, I will be looking what will happen when and if price reach this structure up here, where we have the trend, this downtrend line. We're gonna have at that time, if price reaches this area, the 200 daily moving average should be also at this area. We have the Fibonacci 61.8 when we have this whole structure at this level. So this level is a major level for me, the 1.080. It's a very good level to look at for a possible bounce to the downside from this structure here, for a possible retest of these lows, or maybe even lower back down here, until we have, as far I want to say, as far as we don't have a break above this structure here, a daily break above, a close above, and a retest for a trend, for a upside continuation, we should or I will be looking only for short, and that short gonna be at this area up here, the 1.080 area. Yeah. Have you done Aussie USD yet? Yeah, Aussie pairs was the first one, healer. So as usual, this is gonna be published. So just go back to the start of the of this live session, and you will be able to see the Aussie USD. The sterling pairs are very interesting this week, and I will show you some of them at the same time to give you an idea what's going on these pairs. Let's start with this. No, GBP USD. So guys, sorry if the candles are small, but the idea here to show you how the sterling pairs have been doing after the Brexit and what pair is leading and what pair is not. So bear with me. As you see, guys, we have, if we look at those four pairs, sterling pairs, we have here our Brexit move. Everyone remember that Brexit move, this one here. Then we have this level 1, and we have this level 2. This was on the sterling USD. Then we had the Brexit move on the sterling New Zealand, level 2 and level 3. Brexit on the Aussie, level 2 and level 3, and the same is on the sterling CAD. And what I want to show you, that the most interesting pair for me for next week is actually the Aussie CAD, because as you see, after the Brexit move, we did this structure and then broke down, and we had this consolidation, and now the this pair did actually break up to this level again, but the USD dollar, the USD sterling USD is still in this lower area. It didn't actually break back up to this level again. The sterling New Zealand did also break back up to this level below the Brexit, and the sterling CAD is already in this area. Sterling Aussie is not really in this level yet. So what I'm interested of for next week is actually first sterling CAD, because this pair did a break above this last structure and now is back in this level 1 after the Brexit. So almost for all the sterling pairs, what I will be interested at is a retest of this structure back down here, and try to find an entry reason long to a retest of this area back up here. If we got the price keep going up, then of course the first thing I will be looking at is this level and try to short it from back up here if it give me an entry reason short. We have sterling Aussie, almost the same scenario, but we've been talking about those levels. So Aussie, the sterling Aussie did already test this structure and gave us 2 days of rejection, this shooting star scenario, and a confirmation to the downside. So this pair looks like already heading down, and give you a daily confirmation. The best way for me to take this one should be if price do actually go back up, make a retest of this structure, give us a double top to give me a chance to short it from back up here for a possible retest of this structure. If not, then I will be looking at something like this, maybe a flag, and try to trade a break of the flag to the downside. That should be also another scenario. Then we have the Aussie USD. As you see, let's get rid of those levels. I just made those levels, so I show you what price action we have after Brexit and every pair in which level they are right now. The sterling USD did break this major structure here, and of course it did find a resistance at this level up here, the 1.29 area. It's a major structure, and of course we had some rejection back up here. So for this pair we maybe want to go back down to 4 hour to find an entry reason. And as you see, it is making what look like a bullish flag here. The only problem that if this bullish flag gonna get broken, then we are very close to the resistance. So this is a very short-term trade if you want to take a break of this flag. So the best scenario to try to take a long on this pair is, of course, if price gonna go back to retest this structure down here and this trend line, and then give us an entry reason for long, then we have much more room to the upside before we get to resistance. Okay, are we clear on this one? And then we have sterling New Zealand for special guest Sabah. This is your pair, so I hope you're listening now. You surely do, you always wait for this pair. Sterling New Zealand did break this major structure also, as all the sterling pairs, and we are right now at this level here where, as you see, did find some resistance back from, didn't broke these heights really. So for this pair is to go down to the 4 hour and see what will happen. This structure is very important structure on lower time frame. So what this structure, if it gonna break it, retest, it wanna give you an opportunity to try to trade it back down for a retest of this level. But the best scenario would be on this one is, of course, what will happen if price did a retest of this area. Then it's gonna give us maybe a very good trend to the upside. The first problem area should be at the neckline of this structure here, and the second problem area is, of course, these highs. But as you see, the risk to reward should be very good if price did actually go down to retest this area. Then you can as deeper as, if it get more deeper correction, it's much better for us. So let's put a Fibonacci retracement on that, and as you see, we have the 61.8 at the same level here. So this area down here should be a very good area to look for bullish evidence for a trend, for a trade to the upside. Yeah, and we also have some trend lines to draw and look at, so you can also use some trend lines as guidelines. But I think on this on all the sterling pair, this structure is the most important place to look at. Now that it got broken, what will price do when it reach back down? If it's gonna give us an opportunity for back to the upside. Yeah. Think we did all the sterling pairs, not sterling Jappy though. Let's take a look at that. Sterling Jappy, we've been talking about this price action for a while now, and we've been talking about this triangle that we have here. As you see, price was ranging like this inside this triangle, and the candles was getting smaller and smaller, and we were talking about we may get a strong move, but we didn't know really to what side. So price did a break of the 200 moving average for 3 days, and then broke back up, broke the 200 daily moving average, then broke the trend line and this structure here. To be more sure that this pair will keep going higher, what you want to see, let me just get rid of those. What we want to see is, of course, should be the best thing is to see a break of this structure here, yeah, up here. So for next week, let's go down to the 4 hour. What I will be looking at is actually this area back down here, the 138.8 or 0.7 area. A test of this structure here and the 200 moving average on the 4 hour, and we'll be looking if price give me any bullish evidence to try to go long for a retest of these highs or back up here, yeah. So this is the area I will be looking at. The 138.75 ish area is where I will be waiting. So let's put an alert on that, so I get my alert if price head to that level, yeah. And the USD pairs are the last ones, and we start with the USD CAD on the daily. What we have now is this very strong move to the upside. Price did find some rejection at this level. It's a very good level, and I was expecting some rejection at those highs, but for some reason I think that this pair have a little bit to give. The best level is, of course, if price do another retest to these highs up here, then that will be a very, very good trade to the downside, as we have here before at this structure and this structure here. That would be very good level. But then if price will keep going back down from this area, we have to go back to the 4 hour and see what's going on. As you see, we got this very strong move and this flag and a continuation up, but then we got this inside candle. This inside candle was on, this is a Friday candle, so I'm not trusting it a lot. That don't mean that we have new sellers, that maybe only mean that it's a profit taking, yeah. So that's why it's very important how price action will be at this structure for at the beginning of the next week. Maybe Tuesday gonna give us a clear direction if price will keep going down from here, or if it will give us this retest of this ultimate level back up here. There is another scenario that you see a retest of this structure back down here, correction back up, and maybe give you a head and shoulder. Then you should be very much safer to take a trade from the break of this level. even if you don't get your head and shoulder, I think the best way to trade this one to the downside is to wait for the break of this structure down here. Wait for this break. You can make an aggressive entry on the break, take your trade, or you wait for a break, close below, retest as usual, and try to trade it down on the retest back down to this level. Those are the scenarios I have on USD CAD, guys. USD Chief, what I'm interested at is also where price is testing at the moment, a little bit below there at the 0.99-ish area. As you see, we have this level have been acting as good resistant in the past and was acting a little bit as support here, so that's why I'm interested at this level. And then we have also the daily 200 moving average at this same level, and let's see if we have some confluence from the Fibonacci retracement. We do have also the 61.8 Fibonacci at this area. Right now price did halt at the 50%, and for next week, if we go down to the 4 hour, as you see here, we may get a retest back down, and if we get if price do really reach to this area down here, I will try to look for bullish evidence for maybe a bounce to the upside. If we don't get the bullish evidence and we get a break of this level, then of course we can wait for a retest and see if the break is a confirmed one and try to find a shorting opportunity in that case. But at first I want to see a bounce to the upside from this level. You're welcome, Robin. Bye bye, have a good time. See you of course on Facebook. USD Jappy, downtrend as you see. We did break this major structure. We did a retest of that structure and kept going down, and now looks like price did find some support on the daily 200 moving average. So for this pair, a retest of this broken lows should be a good place to look for a shorting opportunity. So if price do a retest of this area, I will be interested. Even if it get to this level, even that will be much better, and try to find a shorting opportunity from up here. If we go down to the 4 hour and see what's going on right now, you see that price is keep making lower lows and lower highs, and right now it was retesting this structure here, this broken structure here. It did a retest and rejected back down, did another retest on this last candle and rejected back. But there's some people that maybe will look at this like a flag and maybe try to trade a break of the flag. I'm not sure that I want to take this trade as a bearish flag. So for me, the best way, what I want to see next week, that should be the best entry place, is this structure up here. It's, as you see, it's a very clear and structure, and a retest of this area back up here. If it shows us any bearish evidence, then should be a better place to short this pair from and take a trend continuation. Yeah. And this is the last pair, and this is USD Turkey. Price didn't give us that up move we were waiting for. As you see, we have a new range now, and this range is this part of the chart. As you see, the price is ranging in this area, and for now, those of you who trade this pair, keep looking at this structure back down here, and what you can do is wait the price to give you a retest of this structure. If it holds, if it give you a rejection on lower time frame, then of course you can try to go long to a retest of these highs at least, yeah, or possibly these highs, until it give us a break and close below this structure and a retest for a continuation down. You should keep looking at the 3.60 area back down here and try to find bullish evidence to the upside to a retest of this structure up here. I personally not trading this pair at the moment. As many of you knows, I did take this trade back here, did a very good amount of money on it, but then when we have those small candles and price is not going really anywhere with this high spread on this pair, so I will be waiting for a more clear direction if it's gonna break above, break out from this box to the upside or to the downside. For me, there is much better opportunities out there to trade at the moment, because this one is not trending at all. Thank you, Grumpy. Have a good you have to have a good night. Yeah, you're living in Australia, so sweet dreams, man. So that was the last pair, guys. Do we have any questions or any pairs you want me to look at? As usual, I give always 5 to 10 minutes for questions, or if you have any pairs you want me to look at. And while waiting, why not hit the like button and share this this webinar, so much more traders get benefit of this. So please feel free to hit the like buttons and share this webinar on social medias. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe to get notifications every time I put a video out there. So I will wait for 1 or 2 minutes and see if we have any questions. Otherwise, I will thank you a lot for today. Nayan, hi Pierre, may you please have a look at New Zealand CAD, maybe a break of the trend line. Yeah, let's look at that. A break of the trend line, I think you're talking about this trend line, yeah? I think you're talking about this trend line. It is a break, but it's not a, I wouldn't say it's a strong break yet, because the most important thing in this structure right now is not only the trend line itself, because even though we have this break of this trend line, we still have this structure to look at and see what price will do when it hit to this level, yeah. But yeah, you can say that we may have a break of this trend line, but the first day was a clear rejection. As you see, it's a strong rejection to the downside when price reaches this trend line. So there is a possibility that this is another retest of the trend line, and maybe possible double top as you see here. So for now, I wouldn't trust go only on the break of the trend line scenario, yes, because this double top and this RSI divergence is looking very strong. So be careful for long from at such level, because we do have a strong move already. So what we should be looking at on this 4-hour time frame, if we will hold above this structure here. As you see, this looks like a very good structure. So wait to see if price will keep going down and do a retest of this neckline, or if this structure gonna hold and give you entry reason for long. In that case, you can test to go long from this structure back down here and see if a retest of these highs or possible back up here. But I would be very cautious on this long from this area here, just because of this double top scenario. Yeah, if price do actually go back down and break this neckline, then of course you have a possibility for a continuation back down to these lows, or maybe this trend line. Yeah, that's what I have to say about this pair. Thank you, Sabah. Thank you for being here with us again. Ooh, we did do, didn't we do that? Let's take a look. XAU USD. We did do gold actually. Let me go to my charts. Please, we did gold. Gold was the second market I looked at after the Dixie. So go back to the recording and take a look at that, please. Anything else? Super Gary Pierre, thank you, Nayan. Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, see you out there over on Facebook, or why not next week when we have the next weekly overview. Thank you very much for being here, and trade safe and be careful. Next week is very, very full of news. Bye bye, everyone.